Now, I'd like to go back. Is it true, before you joined Arsenal, you nearly signed for Glasgow Rangers?
Well, I had years ago. I was still playing for Feyenoord, and I wanted to go there. And I spoke to Dick Advocaat. He was the manager of Glasgow Rangers, and he was interested. I was interested. I was ready to go. And but they first needed to sell one player before they could buy me, something like that. So
do you know who it was?
No, I don't know who it was. Dick never told me. So I was actually ready to go there, and I was still very young. I think I was about 19 or 20. But in the end, I went to Arsenal. So
it all worked out okay.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was a really good move for me to leave Holland and to come to England. Was a great move.
Quarter of the season gone. By Manchester United concerns, you're off the pace. Is there a level of concern?
Well, there always is a level of concern, because that's not our sort of standard. That's not where we want to be, because we want to be the number one of England and in the end of the world. That's our aim. That's our target. So concern, yes, of course, but we are working very hard on our drills, on the way we have to treat the ball, the way we have to pass it, the way everyone has to move. So that is getting better, but you have to be realistic and sort of look at it step by step now and climb the table.
How's the Premier League changed, Robin, over your career? The quality, the style. How do you see today's Premier League? How's it evolved?
It is in every single way. It's gone up in physical. If you look at the physical stats nowadays and 10 years ago, it's a massive difference. If you look at the technical ability all the players are showing, if you look at the pace, back in the day, 10 years ago, you would almost know for sure that you were going to win. It was just a matter of how much. Those days are finished, because against any team you can lose these days, and that's what makes this league so interesting. It is so tough. It is tough because everyone is so up to standard these days. And if you look at teams like Southampton these days, teams like West Ham United, they are doing well, and I do believe that's a great sign for this league. I do like that, because they're adding something up to this league.
Tell me about some of your opponents. Sergio Aguero.
Great player.
Why?
In my opinion, he has everything. He has pace. He's technical. He runs in behind. He can score goals. He can make them. Beautiful player.
Costa.
Different style than Aguero, but a fantastic player as well. He's very physical, strong presence. Makes his goals, makes his assists, makes his runs. Great player.
So how about the potential of Lukaku? Can he go to the next level?
I think if you look at Lukaku from a couple of years ago when he joined, he went to West Bromwich Albion, and from that day, from that year, he actually made really good steps every single year. He improved, and that's what really matters. We all make mistakes. Yeah, we all give a bad pass here and there. But what I like about him is that he never gives up and that he keeps going.
And how about Sanchez at Arsenal now? Arsene Wenger always says give people a little bit of time to settle in, but he's really showing it.
He is. And I always liked him even at Barcelona. And I think during the World Cup he did really well with Chile. Really good player. Again, very dynamic. He's pace, he's technical, can give you a bit of everything. And those players I do like, because you have to change your game during the game sometimes. You have to look at how the game is going and what does this particular game ask from a certain player, and he can definitely adapt and play different styles. He can go in behind and score the goal. So he's a joy to watch.
When you look back, who are the people, the players that have inspired you to become one of the top players?
Over the years, of course, you sort of get to see role models. You get to see really good players in Holland, and I was always enjoying players, because we had Romario in Holland, we had Ronaldo, we had Bergkamp, we had Van Basten, Gullit, Cruyff, of course, but he was a bit sort of before my area, and I always used to love to watch them and learn from them. But as well, players from Feyenoord. We had Gaston Taument, we had Reggie Blinker, we had Jozef Kieprich, we had at the back we had Henk Fraser, Van Gobbel, really good players. And I always used to sort of look up to them in a way like, oh, I want to be like them when I'm older. I want to be a football player. And yeah, back then, especially sort of play for Feyenoord 1, and that was a big dream for me.
People always talk about football as keeping control, and they expect you to keep control. But when you score an equaliser against Chelsea in the 93rd minute, the surge of adrenaline must be incredible. So the shirt comes off, yellow card, worth it perhaps? Or how do you keep control? People say they should keep control, but how can you?
It is difficult because you get so excited, and when the whole stadium explodes, you just lose it for a couple of seconds and you're a little bit too excited, take your shirt off, and then you realize like, ooh, that's a yellow. That's my 3rd yellow. I still have up until January to go to keep it under 5. So then afterwards you only realize what the consequences is. But if I have to say, shall I do it again? Well, maybe, yeah, because the moment is such a adrenaline shock, and
if you're on a
it's
yellow,
worth it.
If you're on a yellow, do you have like an emergency? Oh, can't do that.
I think I had one of them moments against Southampton when I scored my 3rd goal away from home 2 years ago. And then I had a moment like, oh, should I take it off? And then I had my hand here hanging. I was like, oh no, that's not a clever idea, because I wasn't really sure if I was on the yellow or not, because you do sometimes forget. And I just like, no, let me just celebrate. So that's what I did instead. That is better, but sometimes you just get a bit too excited.
I just want to talk about statistics, goal scoring statistics. Yeah. So many of them. What are the ones that are important? Do you read them?
Statistics, I do read them, and I do know about them for myself, obviously, and for my colleagues. But it is only telling you part of the story, and I've always said that it's not telling you the whole story, because sometimes you can have a really good game actually, where you've been doing all the right things for your team, for yourself, and don't get a goal. And some games you are not doing all those things right, and you get 1, 2, or 3 goals, and then it gets a bit highlighted that you might have played a great game. Well, I know for myself that I didn't really.
But as a striker, goals are the currency. And surely goals per game, it's when you've played, for players that have played over 250 Premier League appearances, Henry, Shearer and yourself, they're the 3 that matters. Surely they're the statistics that matter, when you do it year after year after year.
Yeah, that's what makes it hard as well, because everyone has like really good spells and then a little bit less. But if you can do it over a period of years, I think that's what really matters. And they had bad spells, for sure. But they are very strong mentally, and they kept going even when they had a bit of a bad spell. And sometimes that's tough, because people judge you, and those judgments get very direct these days. But it is part of our job. We have to stick to what we're good at, and we have to keep going and fight through that moment, basically, when you have a bad spell.
Do players bother about shirt numbers? I've always wondered whether it's a real issue. Some people are more superstitious than others. Are you bothered about shirt numbers?
I'm not really bothered, but I think it is like part of a story. For example, my number 20 at Manchester United is part of a story which we wanted to happen, because before I signed, or just after actually, I had the option to go for number 20 or 21. By that time, Manchester United had won 19 league titles. So then I spoke to René Meulensteen, and he said, there's only one shirt you should take. That's number 20, because we are going for the 20th league title. So I said, yeah, I think you're right. We should go for number 20. Although I had the option to go for number 9 for the past 2 years, I stick with the number 20, because I think, I think it's a beautiful story, and hopefully we can make it even more beautiful and extend it to 21.
I was going to say, you're going to change to 21 next season.
I was actually thinking about it, but I think it's best for the fans as well, because so many fans bought the shirt number. I think it's best to just stick to 20.
Thank you. Finally, you live your life in front of cameras. We've got quite a few here today. Do you notice cameras at the stadium? Do you notice them? Do you notice the big screen? Do you notice that Steadicam when it comes in front of you and you're in an international lineup? Do you always feel like you can look at the big screen, or is it all out your mind?
It is normally before the game, when you're in the players' tunnel, for example, when you're just about to go out on the pitch, then you realize, because there's a camera in your face on the right, there's a camera on the left, and then you realize, like, okay. But the moment you step on the pitch, you forget about every single camera. And although in the back of your head you know that there are 14, 15, 16 cameras watching every single step of us, but you do forget, because you're busy, you're running, playing football, and that really takes over. And that makes sense as well, because sometimes when you look at your own actions or from teammates, some of it from a clear view doesn't really make sense, but we do get excited, and we all have a winner's mentality. So sometimes you overreact a little bit and you forget about the cameras, because we're all human in the end. You know, we're all human, we have feelings, we are sometimes sad, we are happy, on the pitch as well, especially on the pitch, and we are very competitive. So we do have it in the sort of back of our mind, but we love the game so much that we just play the game and forget about most of that.
It's been great to talk to you. Thank you.
Cheers. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.